Good morning. I say with all the silence that I can muster, trying not to wake up anyone else in this house. Good morning. Today, instead of jumping straight into the game, I wanted to do a little just chatting before leave this little vlog out there. Hello, motherfucker. Hello there. That somehow distracted me to what I was saying. Oh, yes, my introspection. Not introspection, just, a thought that I was thinking. Yesterday was it marks 10 years since I had my first spinal surgery. And it just made me think about things differently. I was like, wow, 10 years ago, I couldn't walk. 10 years ago, I had trouble getting around. I was in a wheelchair. I was in constant pain. I didn't have full mobility of my legs. And 10 years ago, I had surgery that brought back most of my mobility. And after physical therapy and shit, I'm basically look like a normal human being. But it feels so weird to think that 10 years ago, I had my first spinal surgery. It wasn't my last one, obviously. So I say first means more came down the line. But it was, I think, the most important one. Because after that, it was basically just for pain management. But the first one was for just absolute mobility, like I could not basically do much with my life. But where we have moved on from then, I don't know, it feels very weird. It feels very weird to get that memory pop up where it's like, oh, this is what was happening to you 10 years ago. And it's pretty nice to, it feels surreal. It feels surreal. What a beautiful blessing that now you're doing better. That's kind of like how I felt like when I saw the memory. I was mostly just counting myself lucky, like very lucky to be here today. I could have not made it. I could have not been here today, but I count every day as a win after that. It's weird and it's sort of emotional, but it does give you a different view on things that we take for granted. I don't know. A very somber way to start a stream, but it really hit me when I saw the little thing. 'Cause I have it on my calendar as well. Like, I have it on my calendar because, oh, when the doctors always ask me, what surgeries do you have and when were they? I have it, like, pop up on my calendar, and it says, surgery 2014. That means 2013, I had the accident, right? Yeah, I think so. It's very happy that you're in a different place. Blessed every day to be walking, talking, breathing, and better yet, playing video games. Oh no, like that fills me with joy to be able, like, just the fact that I can walk is just like mind-blowing because I couldn't before. I mean, I walk with pain. I do still have nerve damage, but I can walk. I don't need to depend on anyone to get me anywhere. I do it all on my own. And then there's Mikey. Doing what Mikey does best. That's why I made Mikey his own, or not made, that's why I found Mikey his own little emoji. Hi, Mikey. You're doing, yes, yes, yes. I am doing good. I was just reminiscing over the fact that 10 years ago I had my first spinal surgery, and here I am, walking, talking, breathing, streaming. Speaking of air moments, that's the real question. Actually, because of my spinal cord injury, that's one of the reasons that I have constipation, because of the nerve damage. That's not something anyone needed to know, but since Mikey was talking about bowel movements, then I will talk about that. Yeah, it's 10 years ago I had my first spinal surgery. 10 years ago. I don't actually have metal in my spine. They actually took out pieces of my spine. Because I fractured my spine, and then I fractured a disc. I fractured my spine and I fractured a disc. So that little cushion between your spine, mine, like, broke into pieces. It splintered, even though it's gooey. It's a gooey thing. And they had to take part of that out. And then they had to cut off part of one of the columns of my spine. How the fuck did I fracture my spine? I fell off the second-story building. That's actually how I fractured my spine. I fell off a second-story building, landed seated, and took the impact to the bottom of my spine. I cracked 2 of my lowest vertebrae and herniated 1 disc and fractured another disc. And oh crap, what's that word in English? Desviar, which is I guess the direct translation is divert, but it kind of moved one of the columns out of place, which damaged my spinal cord and referring nerves. I don't think I really told everyone or told anyone the full story is on Twitch, or like the only people who know what actually happened to me are people I like my, not even, I don't think my best friend knows exactly what happened. So I'm lucky to live from the fall. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, if I landed on my neck, I would have died. But since I landed like perfectly on my ass, all I did was break my spine. Like, after that, the crazy thing was that you'd think that right after that fall was when all of my problems started. No. So at the time, I was like fostering a child, and I went to pick her up, and she was like 1. When I went to bend down to pick her up, I heard a snap in my spine and I got stuck. So like I'm holding this baby like barely, because she's like barely off the floor, and I couldn't move even a little. I was literally stuck where I was standing. I couldn't move backwards, I couldn't move forward, I couldn't bend my spine. I just kind of like leaned over to pick her up, and that still wasn't until that still didn't I didn't end up in a wheelchair yet. Then a few days later, it was someone's wedding, and I was with my baby, and we were getting her a dress for the wedding. We had someone tailor her a little dress so she could be part of the wedding. While I was carrying her down the stairs, I fell down the stairs. And while I was like halfway down the stairs, and I was holding her, and I fell, and I lifted her, so I took all of the impact. After that, I was in a wheelchair. After that, I went to the hospital, and I could clumsy as fuck. Yeah, literally. After that, I ended up going to the hospital because I couldn't move my leg, because I didn't know it was my back for about 6 months. No one knew what the problem was, because I couldn't move my left leg, and no one understood why I couldn't move my left leg. They would do images on my left leg, and my left leg didn't have any damages. It was later that they found out that it was that the spinal cord was being pinched, and the nerve that runs down the canal and through little holes that I'm not going to explain because none of you are doctors. None of you are medical professionals. I'm the only medical professional here. Because of that, I was losing signal from my legs, and that's why I couldn't move my leg, and then I ended up in a wheelchair. Then I had surgery, and they just took out a bunch of extra pieces. Trust me, I'm a doctor. Trust me, I'm a doctor. I could use medical jargon, but you guys will not understand. So, yeah. And yep. That all sums up to say that I'm very happy to be here. I'm very lucky that 10 years ago I had surgery that got me back on my feet. And I'm here. I'm here. I'm alive. I'm mobile. I can stream. I'm lucky to be here. Lucky to be with you guys. You don't need to be a medical professional to know those things aren't supposed to. It's supposed to be happy, and that those are big ouchies. Yeah, it was a great big ouch. It was a great horrendous ouch. Good, glad you're here. I'm glad to be with all of you. Oh, supposed to happen. Yeah, those things aren't supposed to happen. The funny thing is that it happened while I was in college, and I could have sued the college for my accident, but I didn't, and here I am, broke, because I didn't sue my college for putting me in a wheelchair. It is what it is, man. I guess that's one of those things, though, that you're just, the gratitude of actually making it through overshadows the anger of how you got there. It's like, I'm just happy that I got out of there with the better outcome than I should have. I was less mad that I was even put in that situation in the first place. I sued my college for me having a heat stroke. Yeah, I don't know. I have. That's a deep quote there. That's just the kind of person I am, though. Like, it really is just I'm happy that I made it through. I am happy. I'm grateful that it could have been worse. I could still be in a wheelchair. I mean, sure, people are in a wheelchair all the time, but you take for granted the mobility that you have, the freedom. I'm just glad that I got better, and I'm not as mad as how I got there. Like, okay, sure, this happened. It was their fault, but it won't make me feel better. So yeah. That was my little emotional opening for today. I hope you guys enjoyed all of my feelings. All of my extra super squishy feelings.